Like, do we really have faith Breece Hall is going to be like ready to rock in week 1?
Yeah, I have relatively decent faith. And the thing that makes me feel better about it is when, I'm going to say when, I'm not going to say if he gets up to speed. When he gets up to speed, I assume it's not, J.K. Dobbins, like you said, not worst case scenario, but for guys who return the next season, that's like worst case scenario among returners. Assuming it's not that type of scenario, even if they ease him in after a few weeks, I mean, he was just stone cold elite last year. He was an incredible receiver, second in yards per route run among players with 30 targets. He got to that 30 target threshold quite quickly because, as you remember, didn't play many games. He was also an elite runner. He was second in yards after contact per attempt on at least 50 carries. That checks out with his college profile. He was a really strong pass catcher in college, at least usage-wise, and he was a workhorse back in college. So, to me, everything we've seen so far, college, small bit of NFL, says this guy is like one of the next really good fantasy running backs. He's also just big. He's like 220 pounds, which is a really important threshold to meet for guys who are trying to get 300 plus touches. Like, offense is going to be better. Everything is wheels up except for the health. And health is, the wheels are starting to turn now to look in the right direction. I want to be consistently ahead of ADP and like of consensus rankers, which for a magazine, I am way ahead of you guys on Breece Hall. I kind of just want to keep it that way.
Yeah, you are way, way ahead. I did move him up in my final ranks a little bit, by the way.
I think he's my RB8 right now. He's like my dynasty RB2.
Way too high, Denny.
I mean, yeah, I think it's tough to say like in May or June to say like, I guess we're in June now, so I'll say June to say, oh yes, I feel confident that he's going to walk into, decent volume to start the season. I think that we're probably looking at, a very closely monitored workload to start the year because they value this guy a lot as a workhorse. And I don't think that they want to push him. Like you said, Robert Saleh was very careful with his language the other day in talking about the injury, talking about how to rehab it, how to get back. So I think that mindset shows us something and says that if you draft him, you can't, you're not betting on 20 touches for Breece Hall until, I don't know, October, November, somewhere in there.
They do have some depth too. I mean, Izzy Abanikanda is getting some rookie hype. He was hyped before the draft. I mean, Zonovan Knight might not even make the team, but he's proven like he can like be your lead back for a few games if you need someone to just basically absorb some carries. Michael Carter is still around. In theory, he can play all 3 downs. They also could just be leaning on the pass a lot. Now with Aaron Rodgers, like they might not need to lean on the run nearly as much while Breece Hall gets healthy. So it is. I agree. He's being drafted as if he's going to assume basically like bell cow workloads from week 1 on.
Yeah,
and he might be healthy, but I don't know about the bell cow thing.
I think the draft is the implication that the first 3 to 4 weeks of the season, like you're fine eating him as like even if he's just like an RB2, 3, like truly they don't work him up to RB1 like usage until, like Denny said, October. Sure, that's 4 weeks at most of like usable but not great usage. And if he does work up to the potential that like I think he's clearly shown, it's like a top 3 to 5 running back is very easily within the range of outcomes. And you get that when it matters. Like, of course, like all of the weeks matter, but they don't all matter equally. The championship week, the subsequent weeks before that matter more as you get close to the spots we care about, whether it's a best ball context or just winning your single league. Those are the weeks we want most. And if he's capable of dropping a 25 or 30 touch game late in the season, I'm willing to eat like a dozen touches per game for the first 3 or 4 weeks.